Story 1. It's funny how you don't realize what you miss until it hits you, you know? I hadn't thought about my grandmother in years, not really. Sure, I remembered the big moments, her hugs, her smile, but she'd been gone for so long that I figured the memories had faded. But one night, all of that changed. It started with the smell. I was lying in bed, half awake, the kind of groggy where your head feels a little too heavy for your pillow. My room was dark, the only light coming from the faint street lamp outside. I usually didn't mind the dark, but that night felt different. It felt weird. It wasn't fear exactly, more like a quiet sense of unease, like something just wasn't quite right. You know that feeling you get when you're staring at something, and you know there's something there, but you can't quite see it? Anyway, I was lying there, just drifting in and out of sleep, when I caught a whiff of something. It was soft, sweet, but sharp at the same time. It was the kind of smell that wraps around you, pulls you in, and makes you want to breathe it deeper, like an old memory tugging at your mind. It was my grandmother's perfume. The bottle was always on her dresser. You know, that old-fashioned kind that comes in a little glass bottle with a dainty silver sprayer. I could always smell it when she'd hug me or when she'd pass by, and it was so distinct that I could never forget it. I didn't even realize I remembered it until that night when it hit me like a slap to the face. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the smell wrap around me like a blanket. My mind raced. I knew it couldn't be real. My grandmother had passed away years ago. There was no reason, no rational explanation for why her perfume would be in my room at that moment. But then, I turned my head to the side, and there she was. Or well, there was something. It was hard to tell at first, like a shadowy outline, like the air itself had taken shape. It sat there, in the chair by the window, the same chair my grandmother used to sit in. The one with the floral cushion, the one that creaked every time she shifted her weight. I could barely make out the shape, but the smell, it was getting stronger, and I knew deep down what it was. My heart started pounding in my chest. It was too dark to really see anything, but the outline, her outline, was unmistakable. The way the air seemed to shift, like it was holding her shape, like she was still here, sitting in that chair. I could almost hear the rustle of her dress as she moved, the faint sound of her humming one of those old songs she used to sing while she cooked. It was all too real, too much, and it hit me in waves, like I was drowning in a flood of memories I wasn't ready for. I should have said something. I should have screamed, or maybe turned on the light, but I didn't. I just froze. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. It was like I was trapped in that moment, stuck in some kind of dream where the rules didn't apply. And the worst part was that I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared of her. I was scared of how normal it all felt. Like this was just another night, like she was still alive, still sitting there waiting for me to talk to her. I thought I could hear her voice, faint and distant, almost like she was speaking from underwater. But no words came, only that silence, thick and heavy. The silence of someone who's long gone. And then the smell was gone. Just like that, like it was never there, and I could breathe again. But the chair was still empty. I don't know how long I just stared at the spot, waiting for something to happen. I thought maybe it was a trick of my mind. Maybe I had imagined it. But I couldn't get rid of the feeling, like her presence was still there, hanging in the air around me. Finally, I got up, my legs shaking like they weren't quite sure what to do anymore. I walked over to the chair, half expecting it to creak under some unseen weight, but it was just the same old chair. Nothing was there. No grandmother, no outline, just the empty space where she used to sit. But that smell, her perfume, it lingered for a while longer. It stuck to the air like some kind of invisible thread that refused to be cut. I don't know what happened that night. Was it a ghost? Was it just my mind playing tricks on me, bringing up old memories I wasn't ready to face? I'm not sure. I don't think I'll ever be sure. But I do know one thing. After that night, I couldn't go back to the way things were. I couldn't forget the feeling, the weight of her presence, even if I wanted to. It's like she had never really left me. You'd think that after something like that I'd be terrified. But I wasn't. I think I was just sad, really. Sad that she was gone. Sad that I didn't appreciate her enough when I had the chance. And maybe it was her way of saying goodbye, of reminding me that even though she was gone, she wasn't completely gone. That she would always be there, in the shadows, in the smell of her perfume, in the way the chair by the window creaked when no one else was around. It was the kind of thing you can't explain to anyone, the kind of thing that makes you feel like you're losing your mind. But at the same time, it felt real, too real to be ignored. Story 2. I was having one of those nights where nothing seemed to go right. You know, the ones where everything feels wrong, like the universe is just messing with you. It was late and I was at home alone. I wasn't really doing much, just sitting on the couch watching TV, but my mind was wandering. I kept thinking about how everything just seemed wrong. Maybe it was the rain outside tapping against the window, or maybe it was just the silence of the house. Either way, it felt like something was watching me, just waiting for the right moment to show itself. It wasn't until later that night, around 2 in the morning, when I decided to head to the bathroom. I'd been drinking water all night, which probably wasn't the best idea, but it was one of those nights where everything felt blurry, like nothing was quite real. My head was spinning and I just wanted to wash my face and get rid of the weird feeling that had been creeping up on me all evening. So I stumbled down the hall, trying not to trip over my own feet, and made my way to the bathroom. The bathroom was small, just a sink, a toilet, and a shower with a tiny mirror above the sink. I flipped the light on, and as soon as the bulb lit up, I felt the air in the room shift, like something had changed. I didn't think much of it at the time, probably just my imagination. I was too out of it to care. I splashed my face with cold water, hoping it'd clear my head, but when I looked up into the mirror, I froze. There, right behind me, was a figure. At first, I thought it was just my tired eyes playing tricks on me. I mean, it was late and I was a little off, so who wouldn't see things in a weird way, right? But no, it was definitely there. A person. I could see them clearly, even though I wasn't sure how. The figure was tall and they had their head tilted slightly. I didn't even move at first. I just stared, not sure what to think. It felt like I was caught in a dream or maybe just hallucinating, but when the figure shifted, I knew this was real. I don't know why, but I slowly turned around, expecting to see someone standing behind me, but when I did, there was no one there. The bathroom was empty. I blinked a few times, my heart beating a little faster. I walked over to the door, still looking around the bathroom, trying to make sense of what I had just seen. My eyes darted from corner to corner, but there was nothing. Nothing at all. I went back to the mirror, kind of laughing to myself, like I'd just imagined the whole thing. It was a weird night after all. I'm not exactly the best at keeping my balance, and maybe I'd just gotten a little disoriented. Maybe I'd been staring at the wall for too long and had some sort of weird, tired vision. I mean, that happens, right? But then, I saw it again. This time, the figure wasn't just standing behind me. It was closer. So close that I could feel its presence, even though I hadn't turned around. I couldn't make out any details, but the shape was there, just hovering behind me like it was waiting for something. I don't know why I didn't turn around this time. Maybe I was too scared, or maybe I was too stunned to do anything. I stood there, staring at my reflection, waiting for the figure to move again. I thought maybe it would vanish, like some weird glitch in the mirror. But it didn't. The figure stayed there, unmoving, just watching me. And for some reason, I felt this cold wave of dread wash over me. It wasn't the kind of fear you feel when you're scared of the dark or of monsters under the bed. No, this was something different, something deeper. Like I was being watched by something that didn't belong in this world. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned around as quickly as I could, but just like the last time, there was no one there. No figure, no shape, nothing. The bathroom was exactly how I had left it. Everything was in its place. The mirror, the sink, even the little soap dish was sitting there like nothing had changed. But I could still feel the presence, like something was there, right behind me, waiting. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't get out of that bathroom fast enough. I stumbled out of there, almost tripping over my feet, and slammed the door behind me. My heart was pounding in my chest, and I had no idea what was happening. I was still trying to tell myself it was all just in my head, but deep down, I knew it wasn't. It wasn't just a trick of the mind. I tried to calm myself down, but I couldn't. I couldn't stop thinking about what had happened. Who was that figure? Why couldn't I see it clearly? And why did it feel like it was watching me, waiting for me to turn around? There was no explanation, and the more I tried to make sense of it, the more confused I became. I went back to bed, but I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that figure in the mirror. It was like it had gotten into my mind. I kept seeing flashes of it standing behind me, its shape just a little too blurry to make out, but its presence always there, lurking. The next morning, I tried to convince myself it was just some weird dream or a trick of the light, but even now, months later, I can't forget it. The feeling of being watched, the sense of dread that crept up my spine when I looked in that mirror. I don't know what I saw that night, but I know it wasn't normal. That's it for now. I hope you enjoy this story. If you did, check out more of my videos on the screen above or visit my channel for even more. Don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Stay safe and take care.